impressed cause you dropped 450 on the New Jersey. I just dropped 450 on the crib in New Jersey. But I'm from the South Bronx, motherfucker, you heard me? And I can tell you a bird cause you get up too early. You acting who's really that bitch. I know a fever when I see it. You ain't really that sick.
You talking real slick, coward, won't you bring it to my face? I got more than a two-way on my waist. And slugs won't be missing you, they opposite of case. You must be drunk. Had a couple shots to your name, couple shots to your frame, leave you crippled and maimed. You so lame, my flow flame raw than cocaine. Ain't no Annie up, bitch, luck taking your chain.
My whole crew is niggas that abuse they wifeys. When you see me in the clubs, no, it's nothing to my niggas to stomp out some bitches trying to front or reminisce. You see the Benzes, the bracelets, try to picture me naked. I limp cause of the size of the rocks in my ankle.
Got God in my heart, no man I could fear. Yeah, cruise through the Bronx with my city and my hat low. Used to call me Fatso, now they call me Miss Castro. Slower, fast flow, hotter than Tabasco, asshole. Luck just getting warmed up.
See, I'm a pothead. I'm sleeping if my eyes not red. I ain't got an enemy that's not dead. Look, you a high head, I'll leave your head hot. You know I got lead when you see that red dot. Nice, dead knot. My chain Flintstone, bracelet, bedrock. When I'm not in Miami, it's hot like Miami. I got twin pink Glocks, I call them cotton and candy.
In my view, all that Fendi, that Gucci, that Prada, and that jewelry make you a target to get shot up. And I'll pop up in the old hoopty with the Glock up. You can't stop her, influenced by Henny and Big Papa. It's none hotter, or either I got a fever, smoking the reefer with a couple.
Reminisce Mackie Smith, born May 30th, 1980, aka Remy Ma. Used to be in that cell, dreaming I was home. Now I'm home, dreaming I'm back in the cell. That one line from Remy Ma on her song Dreamin' speaks a lot about her story and how it must feel as a female artist in a male-dominated rap culture trying to stand out as much as you can. Also, what comes with being that hungry female that has urges to pen messages to anyone who could relate to her walk of life, feeling constrained in expressing themselves fully. You have to play the game, says Remy Ma. This is my job. With only a few that rise to the top at a time, female rap has always been highly competitive. To be one of the cream that rose to the top, you have to respect her for that in itself, keeping her dignity in the process. As a beautiful black woman, I'm sure there's been certain proposals in trade to advance her career, like I'm also sure 99% if not 100% of female artists deal with. Build a certain body, be more sexual here, more there. But by all accounts, Remy has stayed solid and ascended naturally. Solid is the optimum word for the rapper that spent 6 years, 4 months and 5 days in prison for an assault and weapons possession charge for a shooting on July 14, 2007 of a former friend she suspected of stealing from her. Before that, Remy had a bright future and tremendous start to her career, having the legendary Big Pun as her mentor and featuring on his second and final album twice. She was just getting started and at the height of her career in 2004 as she featured on a Grammy-nominated song with Terror Squad and had still, to me, one of the illest female rap verses on a mainstream single, up there with Nicki Minaj's Monster Verse and Lil Kim's Quiet Storm appearance. But according to Remy, her music can get a lot deeper than that, as she's seen more than most throughout her life, with a unique ability to showcase, but in an industry that simply don't want to hear that from the top female rappers. Promote sex, promiscuity, physical enhancement, and loose lifestyle, or else. Remy has always had the talent to be one of the best female rappers in the game, if not in the game, period. But now, in the latter part of her career, it feels that potential was missed because of these 3 reasons. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Born Reminisce Smith in the Bronx, New York, Remy's upbringing was similar to most stories you hear of impoverished black youth dealing with drugs and violence all around. Her mother locked up for some time, Meeting her father at 18 and using her writing to get away from it all was where her story was particularly unique. That poetry she kept to herself turned into more aggressive lyrics she'd rap in competition at school and on the block. Her first opportunity came when she rapped for Big Pun at just 17, who had heard of her through the streets of South Bronx. Impressed, he became her mentor and featured her on his album, which gave her the keys to the game. Stunt number 1, it's a popularity contest. The act of providing amusement or enjoyment. The literal meaning for entertain. How do you provide those things to the masses? You have to have something many become familiar with and gravitate towards. The definition of popularity. Nowadays, it's a lot easier to become popular as the addition of social media allows you to actually be what most consider unpopular and be celebrated for that very reason. In the early 2000s, you had to have it in order to stand out in rap music, especially being a female that's not willing to promote her assets like some are. It's a popularity contest, she says. I don't really care about rap the way I used to because there's so much politics. I just want to do what I do. It expressed Remy's frustration with the popularity contest that is the music business and the personal hurdles she faced not wanting to always play along. Not saying she didn't participate at all, but compared to others before and after her, that was light. Millions across the world were devastated by the loss of her mentor Big Pun in 2000, whom she rapped for on the first day of meeting, chaperoned by her mother in a house with 40 plus goons, as she says, and braiding his hair for a major video shoot on day 2. His posthumous second album, released 2 months after he died, featured Remy on the songs Miss Martin and You Was Wrong, made you want to play it back, as she says, because you couldn't believe a female that wrote her own lyrics, that young, could not only perform on a track like this, but outshine everyone else on the record. And it was just her first time. Remy was popular for her talent. It's the difference between her and a lot of MCs now and before. But when it came to playing the game on the same sort of expected feel as other female rappers, she didn't always participate, and it may have cost her important looks. Stunt number 2, back in the cell. All throughout Remy's career, she's felt constrained to be herself and express exactly the picture along with sound she wanted to create, mainly because of the politics of the game. If she envisioned this artist on the hook, but another artist just had a chart-topping song, her label went the way of the money. Remy only cared about making the best work that she liked. After Pun passed, she was signed to Universal through Fat Joe's label and began work on her debut album. It wouldn't be until 2004 Remy first got a taste of mainstream success on the song Lean Back from Terror Squad that became a Grammy nomination. The poetry side of Remy remembers the days DMX received high praises for songs like Slippin' and wanted to showcase her more creative side. Working on her first album, she'd bump heads with Fat Joe and the label over the express of deeper creativity when they just wanted her to make radio-friendly hits. Without Remy's 100% participation, the label undershipped her debut album, There's Something About Remy, leading to poor sales and her being dropped from the label. A writer of poetry and stubborn as can be, she resented the music industry from then on for artists really not being free to create. Industry politics, she called it, and it was obvious she didn't know nor was willing to play those games. Due to her label involved in those games, but not being very good at it according to her, they pushed 2 records of Remy's at the same time that canceled each other out and didn't promote the album like they should have, and it caused one of the best female MCs ever to have a slow start and be placed in a certain tier of rapper. She later related the entire industry politic game to being locked in a cell, constrained, and can barely move without asking for permission. Stunt number 3, locked away. from all the potential and brighter days she assumed was promised to her. In July of 2007, she was accused of shooting her friend who she believed stole $3,000 from her. The two got into a small scuffle inside Makita Barnes's car and 2 shots were let off. As Barnes laid there thinking her life was about to end, Remy allegedly went through her purse to locate the money, to which she never found. The victim was shot twice in the torso and went on to tell that it was in fact Remy who did it, leading to her turning herself in and awaiting a trial process that could determine her career, more importantly, her freedom. She was later found guilty of 2 assault charges and sentenced to 8 years in prison. Imagine that. Your debut album dropped exactly a year prior that received high praise from the hip-hop community even though sales were low, and now you're being sentenced to 8 years away from your child and relationships. She recounts jail was hard. The officers usually punished her more severely than the other inmates to show she wasn't special to the others, and being away from her young son who hadn't even hit 10 yet. She wound up doing 6.5, came home in 2014, and not long after was involved in a feud with the newest queen of the rap game, Nicki Minaj. The two exchanged diss tracks. Remy, with one of the more disrespectful tracks, rode over Nas's Ether, remixed the title, and challenged Minaj, who tried to go the Drake route and drop a chart-topping song in response as to kill Remy with success. But the streets chose Remy in that battle and served Nicki a hot L for her efforts. In 2016, she dropped a collab album with Fat Joe. The two released another smash hit, All the Way Up, that went double platinum and nominated for 2 Grammys, but again, didn't sell like was expected. I think a lot of that had to do with the time she missed locked away when she could have been there building a loyal fan base who would have supported her music. All in all, Remy Ma is still one of the dopest people period in hip-hop for me. There's something real and unapologetic about her that you wish all MCs had. A self-thinker that's obviously in love with what she does. Even though she didn't always feel the most popular or free to be herself musically, or locked away and forgotten for years, she's still a success and good representation of what a famous female entertainer should be. I wish her nothing but the best, but for these reasons, her growth musically was stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.